Good August 26th, 2017 morning. No Finish Line Nation, Connect, YouTube, and all the different channels that this is being broadcast over, and especially my podcast listeners. I'm hoping that this is going to be a great day for you, spending time with family, friends. If you're at work, make it a great day at work. Enjoy the moment. Just live life and enjoy each moment that passes by. I know there's a lot going on in the world right now, especially with the fact that we've got a hurricane bearing down on our Texas friends down south, which we have a lot of listeners, a lot of followers, and a lot of people through our No Finish Line Nation page that are in Texas. So our hearts, our thoughts, and our prayers are all sent over to you in this time of flooding, winds, rain, and everything else that are going on. And just remember that materialistic things don't really matter. It's more about you guys being healthy and being safe and sound. That's all that really matters. So our hearts and prayers are all sent your way, and I'm hoping that everybody's okay and safe and just waking up and living and breathing each day. And for those that aren't around that area, again, do the same thing. Enjoy your life. Embrace it today. Jump all in, do things that you don't normally do, and just be engaged with your life today, okay? So this fits in alignment with really well, actually, with our meeting that we had today, where we sat down and we talked about the topic of the week is around happiness. And the happiness conversation went down two different directions. One of the directions around happiness was, why do we need to be happy to be successful in our weight loss journey or in our health journey? And the second piece is, how do we get to that happy place from negative place or from an unhappy place? So let's go over the first part. So happiness is pretty important, I feel, is something that you can change and something that you can control for the most part. You know, sometimes we do suffer from things like depression or postpartum stuff or anything that's there that can be medically looked at. And like I've always said, I'm not a doctor, so you might want to get checked out and be able to sit down and have a conversation on how to be able to control that part of it. But happiness, what happens is that when we are in a happy place, think about it. How do you feel when you're in that happy place? How do you feel like you can attack things when you're in that happy place? Do you feel in control? Because I know I do. When I'm happy about things or I'm in a good spot with things, I feel like I'm in control. I'm confident. I have all the things going the right way. I feel like I can attack anything, achieve anything, and battle through anything that's thrown my way when I'm in a happy place. So I usually try my best to always live in the glass half full place. But I have a story behind that because I want to share something around that piece of it too. We talked about happiness, and I sat there thinking to myself, I'm a pretty happy guy. You know, I'm always looking through the positive lens of things. I'm always thinking of a can-do attitude. I'm always trying to add some value to the fact that's there, but I'm also a realist. I'm a happy realist is what I like to title myself. And some of the things that I had, even conversations with my wife back in the day, whenever she might have been going through something with whatever situation that was going on around her, I would always try to fix the situation by layering in happy or layering in a positive spin on things. And sometimes we have to go through things to get to a happy place. So I'm gonna curb that a little bit because I want to talk about how you have to go through things to get to your happy place, and it's not just about the switch that's flipped for you to be able to turn into Mr. Happy, Smiley, Go Lucky person. But the first topic, like we said, was what is happiness and how is it going to help you? If you think about a time that you've been happy in your life and you've written it down, or you think about a time that made you euphoric or made you feel like you were in control or you could attack anything or be anything that you wanted to be, and you felt like nothing was going to get in your way of getting there. So whether it was at school, at work, in your health journey, at the gym, whatever it is, we all know those feelings. And we all know when we feel like, even when we go to the gym, we feel like on some days when we feel like we're ready to attack it and we're ready to kill it and we're ready to do what we have to do. And then there's other days we walk in there and we don't even want to step foot in the door because we're feeling down in the dumps. We're not feeling that great about ourselves. We're not feeling good about the situation that's going on. Life's dealing us some bad cards. And guess what? We just don't want to even lift a weight or do anything. Or we might haphazard, kind of halfway do our workout. And then we expect great results around half working out, and that doesn't work. So happiness is something that is tangible. It's something that you can change, that you can focus on, right? And a lot of things are out of our control, but happiness is sometimes, more often than not, we can change it and we can start to push the direction of being more happy than what we were when we were unhappy. So let's think about that for a second. What do those feelings feel like? Write those things down. Jot those things down. One of the assignments for this week at the meeting was very specifically around writing down a situation or 2 or 3 situations that you had over the week that you were or that you felt happy. Some situation, it doesn't have to be right now, it could be 10 years ago, it could be 20 years ago. A situation sometime in your life that you felt happy, and what did that feel like? Write down specifics of how you felt, how you responded to things, how you stepped your game up for other people, or whatever it is that was going on around you in your surroundings. Jot those things down because it's going to be important to reference back to that when we go into phase 2 of what I'm going to talk about here. Okay? So think about those things. Think about what happiness looks like for you, and think about what kind of control and how you feel like you're in control when you are happy. Okay? Second part. Is there a magic switch? Is there a magic elixir, something that I have to drink, just like in my little Coffee Talk mug here, right? Do I drink this? I drink it, and boom, I'm happy now? I don't know. Is that the magic elixir? No, I don't think so. Is there a magic switch that we can flip? If I'm in a bad situation or I'm on an unhappy rut, can I flip the switch and just turn happy and say, boom, I'm here. Here I go. I'm perfectly sane, perfectly ready to take on the world? No, it isn't that way. That's not real life. That's not how we approach things. And here's the thing. We don't learn from things unless we go through some things. You know, a lot of times coaches will tell you, if you don't fall down and skin your knee, you're never going to learn the procedure or the process of how to be able to become better at that riding a bike or whatever it is without skinning your knee. But if you fall down and skin your knee, you're going to learn then, what do I have to do moving forward to be able to not skin my knee in the future? Or I remember that feeling and the pain that I was going through, so I want to do something a little different. So in an unhappy place that we get to sometimes in life, the way we feel about ourselves, our body image, the way we're doing things, our health journey, our work stuff, you have to go through the tough times to get to the good times a lot of times, right? Sometimes, yes, it does just kind of flip the script and boom, sun shines on it and then it's all better, which is great. And then there are other times that negativity pulls us down, drags us down. We're surrounded by negative people. Nobody wants to help you pull out of it. And then you're stuck there in the mud for a long period of time. And you might still be learning, but it just takes forever getting out of it. And that's okay too. But to get to the happy place is the intent, is the goal that you want to be able to get to. So knowing that life is going to deal you some bad cards moving forward, which it will, and how are you going to respond to those? So earlier when we said to write down those happy situations, those layered in feelings that you had, those layered in actions that you took to be able to make yourself and put yourself in a better place, or even just naturally feel that way when it was going through it, why can't you tap into that moving forward? What's the reason you can't look at that situation and say, that's the way I want to feel moving forward? Because I think that's really important to talk about. You know, if we can, there's no special switch for it, but there's a way that we can start to push ourselves that direction to get out of that negative place into a happier place or more positive place. One of the things I mentioned at the meeting was to take inventory. So again, something we talked about on Coffee Talk a few weeks back or a few sessions ago was around listing your positives and your negatives. And for me, an actionable item that I can put into place about becoming happier than what I was before was I can list out how I'm talking to myself, how I'm treating situations, how I'm evolving as time goes on. How do I respond to that? And how do I talk to myself? And how do I prepare myself as I'm moving forward? And I think it's important to also do that, because now you can also, on top of writing down a situation that was happy for you in your life, you can also write down how you're talking to yourself right now. What kind of impact are you having on your life right now, on your journey, on where you're going and where you want to be? I think that's really important, because that's how I get through it. That's how I get to a happier place. I have a quicker turnaround sometimes, because then I say, why am I talking negative about that? What am I thinking? Why would I even be there? Somebody brought up at the meeting having a gratitude board or something that they're grateful for in their life. The positive things that are going on when it seems that everything was so negative. And somebody else brought up the fact of sometimes it seems like a pity party, But you have to have a pity party sometimes to get to a place where you're appreciative of the things that you do have. Now, that's a hard concept for some people because most people will tell you, don't park in the negative, try to go towards the positive. But I feel that there's growth opportunities when you're in the negative sometimes. It just depends on how long you're going to stay there. How long are you going to sit in that negative spot and be able to just simmer and have your feet sink in like quicksand? Or are you going to be stepping out of that realm? Are you going to step out of the pool and be able to say, okay, so now I've learned this, and this is what I've learned, and that's what I've learned, and this is what I'm going to use moving forward. I journaled it out. I wrote it down. I see how I was feeling. I see what I did to attack it. I see how I felt about it, and I'm still not there yet, but I'm going to get there because I need to think positive and put myself in a better place or a better frame of mind. I think your mindset is huge in this game. We all talk about beyond the scale. We all talk about you're not a number. It doesn't label you. Well, we need to put that to action. Because when you step on the scale, what happens? You get, if you're up, you're negative. When you're down, you're positive, right? We let it run us. We let it cause our reactions towards where we're at, and we can't let it do that, because what it does is it adds or detracts from the value of the happiness that we're trying to be able to get to. And if you're feeling happy, like we opened with this whole entire podcast, if you're feeling happy, guess what? You're in control. You're commanding excellence. You're somebody that is looking at the situation and saying, I can beat that. I can attack that. I'm good at that, so I'm going to work on that. Instead of, let me cower down, put the covers over my head, shut down, and walk away from a situation instead of getting into it. Most of the time when we're not in a happy place, that's what we do. So work on happy this week. Really focus on being happy. Put on a smiling face, or work on at least the behavioral side of getting to a better place. Work on being semi-happy. Baby steps, getting to where you need to get to be able to completely put a smile on your face and really feel like you're in control. Take baby steps getting there. Celebrate in small victories. If you got something that goes on that maybe seem minuscule and tiny, you never know how it's going to impact your overall journey as that snowball starts to roll down the hill and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger of positivity and not negativity. I used to say at work all the time, positivity breeds positivity and negativity breeds negativity. If you start off negative at the top of the hill and it starts to roll, guess what? It's a boulder by the time it gets to the bottom, and vice versa. Positivity, when you start off small, baby steps getting there, by the time it gets to the bottom of the hill, now you're in a happy place, you're in a positive place, and you're ready to attack the world. It's much easier said than done, I know. I know that from my perspective, it's much easier said than done because I have good days and bad days. But on those bad days, if I can just start to incrementally get to a better place, reflect a little bit instead of just sitting in the muck. It doesn't have to be fixed by the end of the day, but it can sure start moving the right direction. I hope that helps you guys. It really was reflective for me after our meeting today, because I felt like it was relevant towards where I'm at right now. I had a successful summer. I lost over the summer. It was great. I was happy. I was in a good place. But then I had a couple things coming up this week with my family, with different stuff going on. So it really kind of puts me back in that negative place. And although I want to get out of that spot, I also have to acknowledge it and live there for a moment to be able to say, okay, so how am I handling this and how am I responding to this? Again, try getting a little bit happier. Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a full fake smile. You're sitting there with the smile on your face going, hi guys, how you doing? This is really great. Nothing like that. It's just small behavioral changes you can make towards moving the direction of being a more positive person and being in a happier place. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you later.